The world of true crime is filled with notorious serial killers who have committed heinous crimes. But what about those who manage to evade capture? The ones who slipped through the cracks, leaving behind a trail of unsolved murders and unanswered questions. Today, we're exploring the most wanted serial killers who got away. And I'm excited to dive in and examine the cases that have left investigators baffled for decades. Solving cold cases is a daunting task for law enforcement. The passage of time makes it increasingly difficult to gather evidence, find witnesses, and piece together the events surrounding a crime. As a result, many serial killers have been able to evade capture, leaving families and communities with a sense of injustice and uncertainty. The reality is that there are likely hundreds of serial killers who have never been caught. And it's a chilling thought. The lack of closure for a victim's families, the lingering fear in communities, and the knowledge that a killer is still out there, living their life freely, is a harsh reality that law enforcement faces every day. In many cases, the general public is left wondering how someone could commit such atrocities and get away with it. The frustrating truth is that sometimes it's a combination of factors that allows a serial killer to evade capture, including lack of evidence, incompetent investigations, and even pure luck. However, it's crucial to remember that law enforcement is not always to blame, and in many cases, they're doing everything in their power to bring these killers to justice. While it's impossible to know for certain how many serial killers are still on the loose, it's estimated that there are between 20 to 50 active serial killers in the United States alone. This number is staggering, but it's a sobering reminder of the reality that law enforcement faces every day. The good news is that with advancements in technology, DNA analysis, and forensic science, there's hope that some of these cases can still be solved. However, it's a slow and painstaking process, and many families are left waiting for justice for years, even decades. The fear of never knowing what happened to their loved ones is a heavy burden to carry, and it's something that law enforcement and investigators are acutely aware of. One of the most significant challenges in solving cold cases is the lack of physical evidence. Many serial killers are meticulous in their planning and execution, leaving behind little to no evidence at the crime scene. This forces investigators to rely on eyewitness testimony, which can be unreliable, and psychological profiling, which is not always accurate. Additionally, many serial killers are masters of manipulation, able to convincingly pretend to be someone they're not, making it difficult for investigators to pinpoint their true identity. Dennis Rader, also known as the BTK killer, is a prime example of a serial killer who managed to evade capture for decades. Between 1974 and 1991, Rader terrorized Kansas, killing 10 people and taunting the police with letters and cryptic messages. Despite his brazen nature, Rader was able to lead a seemingly normal life, even becoming a husband and father, all while hiding his dark secret. It wasn't until 2005, when Rader sent a floppy disk to the police, that he was finally caught and brought to justice. Rader's case is a fascinating and terrifying example of how serial killers can blend in with society, making it nearly impossible to detect them. Another notorious serial killer who managed to evade capture is the Golden State Killer. Between 1976 and 1986, the Golden State Killer terrorized California, committing at least 12 murders, 45 rapes, and multiple burglaries. For decades, investigators were baffled by the lack of evidence and the seemingly random nature of the crimes. It wasn't until 2018, when DNA technology advanced to the point where it could be used to identify suspects through genetic genealogy, that the Golden State Killer was finally caught. The case is a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of never giving up on a case, no matter how cold it may seem. The case of the Zodiac Killer is another example of a serial killer who has managed to evade capture. Between 1966 and 1974, the Zodiac Killer terrorized Northern California, killing at least 5 people and taunting the police with cryptic letters and codes. Despite numerous investigations and tips over the years, the Zodiac Killer was never caught, and his true identity remains a mystery to this day. The case is a frustrating example of how close law enforcement came to catching a serial killer, only to have him slip through the cracks. One of the most gripping cases of a serial killer who almost got caught is that of Gary Ridgway, also known as the Green River Killer. Between 1982 and 1998, Ridgway killed at least 49 women in Washington state, making him one of the most prolific serial killers in American history. In 1983, Ridgway was actually questioned by police, but he managed to talk his way out of suspicion, and it wasn't until 2001 that he was finally arrested and charged with the murders. The case is a chilling reminder of how close law enforcement came to catching a serial killer, only to have him slip away. Ridgway's case is also a testament to the power of forensic science and DNA analysis. In 2001, DNA evidence was used to link Ridgway to the murders, and it was the key piece of evidence that led to his conviction. The case is a prime example of how advancements in technology can help solve cold cases, and it gives hope to families who have been waiting for justice for decades. In conclusion, today we've explored the chilling stories of the most wanted serial killers who managed to evade capture, from the BTK killer to the Golden State Killer. These cases are a sobering reminder of the reality that law enforcement faces every day: the lack of closure for victims' families, the lingering fear in communities, and the knowledge that a killer is still out there, living their life freely, is a harsh reality that we must confront. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on these cases. Do you think we'll ever see justice for these victims and their families? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more true crime stories and discussions.